U.S. Department of Education released the student loan forgiveness application. What do you need to know? What do you need to do? And by when? I've got all those details and more coming up. My name's Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. All right, student loan cancellation or forgiveness, whatever you want to call it, is currently being contested. Whether the White House actually has the authority to cancel student loans like that. And yet, at the same time, just a few days ago, U.S. Department of Education released the application as well as some details, the long-awaited details, as to how you can apply or what the process is going to be to have your loans canceled or forgiven or whatever you want to call them. Now, we'll see how it plays out in the courts. I have no idea, but that's no reason for you to wait, right? If you've got student loans and you're eligible to have some of those canceled or forgiven, get the process started. I'm going to show you what to do. All right, Dave Ramsey's website, actually Ramsey Solutions, has a couple really great pages explaining the process here, and I found it really helpful. So take a look at this. It's going to provide some of the details. Number one, you've got to apply for the forgiveness by the end of the year, by 12/31. That should be enough time, but don't procrastinate. It's not going to take long. I'll show you the application here in just a second. It's going to take 5 minutes or less, but you've got to do it. You've got to do it before 12/31. We might not know fully, guys, where this thing stands in the courts by then. So that's why I would say, even if we don't have that answer yet, still go ahead and start that application and apply. If the application can be in both English and Spanish, you don't need to log in your student loan account in order to apply. We thought that might be the case, but you don't actually need to. Make sure that you qualify for student loan forgiveness before you apply. Otherwise, that could be sort of deemed as you trying to rip off the system. It's fraud. You obviously don't want to do that. Are you eligible? Okay, your income needs to be below, and I'm assuming adjusted gross income, needs to be below $125,000 for single filers, and that's either your 2020 or your 2021 tax return. If you're married filing jointly, you need to be below $250,000, okay, in order to be eligible. That's it. What if your loans were in default? Still eligible as long as your income's below that threshold. Remember, it's got to be federal loans, okay? Even if you've consolidated, they got to be federal loans. If they're private loans, if you consolidate and they're private, those are not eligible. And then how much loans are you eligible for forgiveness on? Up to $10,000. And if you received a Pell Grant, then it's up to $20,000. That can be both you as a student. If you're a parent and you have federal Parent Plus loans and your income's below that threshold, you could be eligible as well. Speaking of parents, those of you that have eligible Parent Plus loans, you need to apply separately. Your child, the student applying, doesn't apply for both of you. You need to apply separately. I've even seen two parents that each have Parent Plus loans and their own names. I wonder if we'll find out later that that's not eligible. Right now, the way I see it, it is. So one spouse should file the application. The other spouse should file the application. Speaking of that Pell Grant, you shouldn't need to prove that. The U.S. Department of Education should have that on file. Now, to me, I'd love to have the documentation to verify it. I've talked to several people about this and asked, and they're like, yeah, I think so. They either know for sure or like yes or no, or I think so. But that should be on file with the U.S. Department of Education. And then lastly, if you're filling out a FAFSA each year or you're currently on an income-based repayment plan, then you're already submitting your tax return information to the IRS. And if that's the case, you may not even need to apply, not to the IRS. Of course, you're submitting it to the IRS, but to the U.S. Department of Education, you may not even need to apply. You should be getting an email about that. I don't know if it would hurt to apply officially anyway, if you haven't heard, but if you're on an income-based repayment plan or you've been filling out a FAFSA, then you should already have provided your income information, your eligibility information for this to the U.S. Department of Education. Once you've verified all of that, and that all makes sense, go to the application. It looks like this. Here it is at the top. You have some details, which we've already covered. You get down in there, and you input some basic information about the borrower, okay, and review. and submit. That's it, guys. That's it. Just filling out some basic information and kind of certifying that, hey, this is accurate, everything that I filled out, and submit. They're saying this should take 5 minutes or less. I would certainly argue on the less side. Should be very, very simple. So that's it. That is it, guys. Let's hit some frequently asked questions or some typical questions. Number one, what if you can't fill it out online? Well, apparently there is going to be a paper form available to you. I would encourage you, find a way to get some internet and apply online. Seems wildly simple and effective and easy to do that. So there you go. Will it be taxable? We've talked about that a lot. That was passed earlier in some stimulus plans earlier during the pandemic, where they kind of slipped in that student loan forgiveness would not be taxable. So this is not taxable income to you. So that is good news if you're set to receive some benefit. What if you were making some payments during the forbearance period, and now when it comes time for your loans to be forgiven, you're actually eligible to have 10 grand forgiven, but you've paid some of your loan down and you only have maybe 6 grand left on your loans? You will be eligible for a refund. You will be eligible for a refund for the dollars that you paid during the forbearance period. Apparently those refunds should be issued in the first quarter of next year. We'll see. And will they have all that documentation? Will the system even be robust enough to tell? They say that it will, but you could be eligible for refunds if you've paid on your loans during the forbearance period and your forgiveness amount exceeds your current balance. What if you still have loans left after the forgiveness period? Well, update your budget and then watch your monthly payment amount, okay? Because monthly payments are supposed to start in January. I've talked to several financial professionals that have said, yeah, I believe it when I see it, especially as we've got economic storm clouds threatening overhead. It's possible they kick the can down the road again and not have payments start like they've, been doing. We'll see. As of right now, I would plan on having your payment start in January, and I would watch your monthly payment, because when these loans get canceled or forgiven, that should decrease your payment. In fact, there's some other provisions in there, depending on your overall situation, that should reduce and could reduce your payment anyway. But I would update your budget, because you don't want to have, you're getting this blessing if it goes through and officially is passed and approved, all that sort of stuff, then you're going to get this blessing. Then let's attack those student loans, get rid of them. And then final FAQ, or just FYI, watch out for scammers, guys. Watch out for scammers. You should not and will not have to pay to get an application in there. Be very, very wary of someone that is sort of masquerading as the U.S. Department of Education, telling you to fill out this information or whatever. They're trying to get your personal information. So go directly to that site, the U.S. Department of Education site, apply online, and make sure you're very diligent for others reaching out to you or asking for information. So there you have it. We'll see where this lands with the court system and everything, and if this gets approved. If this is going to significantly benefit you, then make sure that you're ready. Make sure that you filled out this application. Make sure that you've updated your budget come January. Make sure that you've updated your plan to say, all right, here's how I'm going to attack my student loans and get past these and go on and make further progress and achieve other goals in my financial life. Work with your certified financial planner on all of that. Find a way for this blessing to start an upward spiral in your financial life, sort of parlaying this great financial benefit into more financial progress and financial benefits. Work with your CFP on that. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or send us an email, info@Korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.